This is Kasha with Arizona Home Consultants, sitting down with some of my favorite people from Post 58 in Fountain Hills, Arizona, the American Legion. I have got the president of the Auxiliary Unit 58.
Thank you.
And the writers. President. There are commanders, there are presidents. One of these days I'll get it all straightened out. Sitting down with me today. We've actually spoken with the commander here a little bit, so I'm going to start with CJ, our auxiliary president, and if you could tell us how you got involved with Post 58 and the auxiliary overall, that's what we're here to hear.
Well, I got involved because of my husband. He was a Korean War vet. I moved here to Arizona in 2001, and he brought me to the small post that was on the Avenue of the Fountain, and that's where I first saw American Legion post. I had lived in Chicago for a number of years and never went to an American Legion post.
Okay.
My relatives are from Tennessee that all served, so I was never around anybody that had any American Legion affiliation. So when I came here, my husband brought me, and people were very, very nice. And then I was always working, so he would go to the post. And then when the new post was built, we would go quite frequently, and he always tried to get me to join, and because of my work schedule, I wasn't able to. Okay. So I finally did. He passed away in 2013.
I am so sorry for your loss.
And
grateful for his service.
Yeah. And he was a really great guy. I have a stepson that's served in the Navy. I have grandchildren that served in the Army. I have uncles that served in the Army. So I do have a lot of military in the family prior to marrying into a military family. I had promised my husband that once I retired that I would devote myself to the American Legion and serving the veterans. So that's what I've tried to do. My entire career with the American Legion Auxiliary.
Yeah, and you use the word try, and maybe you guys don't know this about me, but I might have a little pet peeve with that word.
All right.
You succeed. You have served the Legion. So in order to be an auxiliary member, what are the requirements?
The requirements to be an auxiliary member, you have to have a blood family member that served, either a husband, a wife, a father, a grandfather, a mother, or a grandmother that served in the military.
Okay. And is the auxiliary a women's organization?
No.
Is it?
No longer a women's organization. So if a spouse of a veteran is a male, he can he can join the auxiliary.
That was something I didn't understand initially. I would introduce it wrong. I was like, oh, this is the ladies.
No,
this is the ladies
we're no
club,
longer. It happened a few years ago.
Okay.
There was a change that came down from national. So we had to change all of our verbiage in every document that we have.
Well, I love that the auxiliary provides a place for absolutely everyone who has a military relative too.
Right. It really brings people together. I have met so many wonderful people because of my involvement with the auxiliary and the Legion and the Sons. It's a wonderful place to be. I enjoy going there every day. Likewise. And meeting new people. And like John said, when the Brits come over for the rides, I'm also a supporter of the American Legion Riders. Enjoyed that a lot. It's a fun time because you get to meet so many wonderful people.
Agreed.
It's a beautiful thing. We as the auxiliary, we support our veterans in so many different ways. We have the veteran charities that we support. We support our own group of veterans at Post 58 in numerous ways. We have Monday night football food that is mainly all homemade food. And it's open to the public from 4:30 until we sell out. With help of a couple of other auxiliaries, brought over the line dance group from the community center and one of the restaurants in town. And now we're called the Post 58 Line Dancers.
The Post 58 Line Dancers is one of my favorite organizations. You guys know me. You guys
Yes.
know me on the dance floor. But I love to dance.
Yep, so do I.
My sweetheart did not love to dance in public. And one day he said, you should go to line dancing. And I'm like, what?
Why would I do that?
No, you should dance with me. And that was a losing argument on my part. And so I actually ended up going to line dancing. And I'm not a very coordinated individual. You were teaching and tremendously patient.
Thank you.
Not only with my inability to coordinate my feet and hands and things like that, but also just with like my embarrassment in it. And it was I just felt so welcomed. And I have learned.
Yeah. It's really opened up a lot of people to the American Legion post and becoming members of the auxiliary. I have brought in probably 60 new members to the Sons, the Legion, and the auxiliary just by them coming on a Thursday night to dance for a few hours.
And truth be told, like holistically speaking, I feel like if you can come through the doors of Post 58, like you experience something.
Yeah.
And whether that be, whatever brings you through that doors, there's something tangible that you walk into that you go, whoa, how can I be a part of this?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I get a lot
glad
of
that we
that.
do that for people.
Oh, yeah. So am I.
Rather than just walk in the door and go, I'm bored.
Well, some days you're less entertaining than others.
That's true. That's so true.
We need you to bring your smiling face.
Depends on the kind of day I'm having
Yeah.
with all my families here.
Speaking of families,
Yes.
talk to us about the writers a little bit.
Okay, so besides being the commander of Post 58, I am also the American Legion Riders president for roughly 8 or 9 years, and probably another year, and then I may just pass the torch. So the American Legion Riders is an organization, it's a family of the American Legion.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not like a bunch of bikers, which people perceive to be incorrect that way. We may look like it sometimes, earrings, tattoos. We wear a leather vest with all our mostly military patches on it. And unfortunately, we have too many of our Post 58 Legion members that have passed away. So we get patches for them and we put them on the cuts. And if you see us and our vest looks a little scruffy, a little worn, a little dirty, it's actually because every minute on that motorcycle, we're trying to raise money for veterans. If we do a ride, it's not just because we want to ride a motorcycle and make a lot of noise. And my particular organization, All American Legion Rider organizations, we have a guidebook that we have to follow. We follow the way we ride.
Okay.
staggered. Everything we do about our ride is safety related.
Okay.
So if you see us out there, you won't see us go in and out in between cars, even move up on the motorcycle in front of you. You know, we don't ride side by side, you ride staggered. Everything we do is about safety. And if you see us out there, chances are we're doing a poker run or we're doing any kind of a fundraising function, mostly on weekends. Give you an example. This Saturday, we're leaving American Legion Post 58 at 8 a.m. with my riders. And my riders, when I say my, I mean Post 58, we're riding the Post 34 in Cave Creek. And that's where registration is going to be. And the registration is for Wreaths Across America. And everyone from here to New York should know about Wreaths Across America.
In case they don't, tell us.
What we do is, what they do across the entire United States is raise money to purchase wreaths. The wreaths are $17 a piece. 2 for $34, obviously. For every 2 you purchase, you get a third one for free. In December, exactly December 14th, we will have tractor trailers working in conjunction with the Patriot Guard riders on this. And I'm sure you have seen or heard of the Patriot Guard riders, and I will get into that.
Tell us in a minute, but keep with the
I
wreaths.
will get into
yeah.
that. So we will meet at Post 34 in Cave Creek, of which we'll all register. And instead of just paying $34, we may throw in $100, throw in whatever we need to do. And we leave Post 34 at exactly 9:30 in Cave Creek, and we head down to Post 117 in Phoenix, and we'll stay there for a while, and we'll raise money at Post 117. And the ALR chairman will have already tried to raise some money from his post and his family. And then from Post 117, we'll go to Desert Wind Harley Davidson, which they're having food trucks, and they've already given us a donation. I picked that up during the week. So they've given us raffle items because we're going to also raffle. And from there, we're going to go to Post 39 in downtown Gilbert, and we'll spend some time with Post 39 and raise some money there because they'll have already raised the money and turned it over to us. And then from there, we leave and we go around through Saguaro Lake. We take the long way back to Post 58.
The pretty way.
The pretty way. So we go around Saguaro Lake, Bush Highway, then come down Route 87 to Post 58. At 2:30, we'll have a DJ and we'll have music and we'll have a party at Post 58 and we'll have raffle items there. And that'll be open to pretty much anyone that wants to come in and donate money. And what we do with that money is we turn it over to the group that I started to talk about was the Patriot Guard Riders. And the Patriot Guard Riders, if people think the American Legion Riders do a lot, the Patriot Guard Riders, at least in the state of Arizona, I happen to be very good friends with the state director. And shout out Bill Wildhorse Wooster.
Amen to that.
Amen to Wooster.
Yes.
So we will turn over money to him, and then he will coordinate this all the way through to December 14th. There will be 5 or 6, hopefully a lot more, tractor trailers with the wreaths that everyone contributed to. And they will be at National Cemetery in Cave Creek. And then on the 14th, first of all, if you don't get there early enough, you can't get in the parking lot. And I'm just talking about riders. I'm talking about families, people, cars, trucks, everywhere. So we will ride in, have a ceremony, and then they will unlock. We will guard the trailers. They unlock the trailers, and they hand out wreaths to the people that are there to put them on the cemetery plot.
Wow.
And if they're in a columbarium, then you can lean it against the wall and say whatever little thing you have to say. And we are trying to cover all the headstones at National. This is a huge task. because there are
Yes.
more headstones, unfortunately, in at the National Cemetery. Last year, we doubled the amount just by our fundraising. This year, we're hoping to a little more than double. We don't have crazy expectations. We want to stay reasonable, but eventually, hopefully in my lifetime, we can get a huge percentage of them covered. And it's just a little something. And what we do is, of course, we have Jewish people buried there, so we know to take a rock or a penny or a coin. They're very aware of that, and that's probably one of the biggest days that we will have. Will be December 14th. Getting back to the Patriot Guard.
Quick question.
Yes.
If somebody wanted to donate to that cause, how would they go about doing it?
They can go to Post 58, mail it to Post 58, only because I don't have the Patriot Guard's mailing address, but from mailing it to Post 58 and put Wreaths Across America or Attention Commander, it goes to Bill Wildhorse Wooster, who is the Patriot Guard.
Perfect.
So
And
it'll go to him.
and if they want to experience that too, can they go to National
They can go,
Cemetery
anyone
to
can go to
participate?
National Cemetery. They can't purchase them. They can donate there because we don't just have wreaths by name. There are too many wreaths. I mean, so the tractor trailer is full of wreaths. But some people, let's say you live in Chicago and you send the Patriot Guard money, or you send it to Post 58, wherever, and you give us the name and the plot number or the headstone number, or we can get it at National. They have a computerized database. And you want to be sure it's there. We can put it there. They'll take a picture and either send it to you, well, usually send it to you. If you give them the number, they'll text it to you and show you that we had people that bought wreaths from here that their parents were in New York. And we made sure they get there. And there, the Patriot Guard riders there will take a picture and send it to either Wooster and or directly to the person that did it. We try to do everything we can do, and the Patriot Guard riders are just an exceptional group. I happen to know quite a few of them. I have done missions with the Patriot Guard riders, and you talk about tearjerkers. To talk about a mission, just one that comes to mind, I got a letter from one of my riders who works at Scottsdale Harley Davidson. I got an email, and her name is Lori, and she's one of my riders. And she says, John, there's an 80-year-old man that we heard just passed. Actually, we heard from his pastor that he passed. He has absolutely no family here. He's being buried at National. Just the pastor and his cremains. So I said, okay, I have to do something. So I sent an email out to my riders and got at least 20 of them. Mm-hmm. And then I sent I sent an email to the Patriot Guard riders. Mm-hmm. And I got it to Wooster, Wildhorse. So I got it to Bill, and Bill calls me up and he says, this is unacceptable. So I said, okay, what do you want to do? He said, I'll handle my end, you handle your end. And we got together and we went to National Cemetery that day. And the Patriot Guard does what you call a flag line. Everyone gets a big American flag out of their chase truck. And we line up around, have the service. And there had to be, I want to say 75 people there for this veterans service who had absolutely no one but the pastor. Right. So this is what the Patriot Guard, one of many things the Patriot Guard does. They do missions. As a matter of fact, I was with Wildhorse the other day, Wednesday, and he has to go to Nevada to pick up cremains and deliver them. He has to go to Texas and pick up cremains. I mean, he's done across country to bring them to National, to bring them to Arlington before. Mm-hmm. And it's not just, and Bill would have to tell you more about this, but it's not just you put it in the motorcycle and then you leave it in the motorcycle and you go. It's a whole honor program that you park the motorcycle. You have I don't know exactly. It's a transfer, and you have to keep those cremains with you at all times, in the bike, out of the bike. And then there's a service when you put it in the bike. There's a service when you take it out of the bike. It's all about respect. All about respect. And this man goes all over the country. He has been on so many tens of thousands of missions that he lost track. We all lost track. So anytime he calls us at Post 58 and says, hey, I need your riders for a service, we're there.
I was at bingo maybe a month ago, and you mentioned a service, and I actually decided to take my daughter out of school. She's 12 years old. She's in 6th grade.
Yep.
Yes.
And to go to the service. And we have a beautiful park in Fountain Hills. There's a Veterans Memorial. It's stunning. We do events there for Veterans Day, for Memorial Day. But in this particular case, it was for one of our founding members, DJ Long, and the riders were there. I didn't really know what I was walking into. You had just said something at bingo, and I'm wanting so badly for my daughter to understand the legacy that she comes from. You know, she hasn't seen that military service up front, but her grandfather on her other side is a Marine Corps. He was a drill sergeant, you know, so she's got a legacy there, and I want her to understand it. And I was a mess.
You were.
Yeah, you were.
I have to agree. You were a
I
mess,
agree.
Kasha.
I agree. We're holding the flags,
Yes.
and you're just
You were.
bawling.
And you were still trying to take pictures
Right.
while you were bawling. I don't know how you looked through the camera.
I don't know how the pictures turned out, but I would say if there's any way that individuals can experience that is literally one of the most beautiful experiences that I've had.
I was so happy that I was able to be a part of that as being a
You were a mess
supporter.
also.
I was.
You were also a mess.
Well,
We win.
with receiving a flag of your loved ones, it's a whole different process that you have to go through. But you don't really understand what it's all about until you receive that flag. And for me to be a part of a supporter of the American Legion Riders, and to be able to be in the flag line of a fellow auxiliarist. Her husband was the one that passed away, and she's the one that's getting the flag, and it just brought everything back to me when I went through the same thing. So it is a beautiful and very touching ceremony, and unless you know what that's all about from that perspective, it hits you in a different way.
So when we do these missions, there's usually, actually always, the Patriot Guard riders lead. Now, the Patriot Guard riders state captain Wild Horse will either be 99% of the time he's on his motorcycle, and then you have to just see the artwork on his motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
And also the military escort truck.
Right.
Now, when we do this, we had one of our members pass away from Post 58. He was a past president. And we did his service. And I was fortunate enough, yet unfortunate enough, to ride his motorcycle with his urn in the back and his wife on the back of the motorcycle with me, surrounded by military flags on motorcycles, 4 military flags, with the Patriot Guard rider captain right there, and I want to say 150 motorcycles
At least.
from Fountain Hills to the National Cemetery. And of course, they're allowed to stop traffic. They're all certified by Maricopa County Sheriff's Department. So, and they have lights and sirens on their bikes. So they are permitted by the state to stop traffic. Dangerous, but they do it. And this happened to be my best friend. But if you're in any kind of a procession and you're doing this for a fellow veteran, I can't tell you how many times I have tears in my eyes while I'm riding. I don't even know the person, but it's just so touching. And then when you get to National, then you get off the bikes and you go around where they're having a ceremony, and then they always have, say you're in the Marine Corps, they will always have at least 2 Marines fold a flag and present it. And then we have what we call the flag line, where everyone takes an American flag. Sometimes there could be 30 of us. And we do a semicircle around the area of the family. And I said to my wife one day, I said, if and when I die, the first call you make is to Bill Wild Horse Wooster. I said, because if I don't get buried this way, we're going to have a problem. I'll haunt everybody. I mean,
I'm open to haunting.
it's the procession that if I die, I want to make sure that I'm put to rest that way and respected that way. So
yeah, when my father passed away and we laid him to rest, there were service members that came and unfolded the flag and folded it back up. They played taps.
Yes.
But there were 8 of us, and the funeral home had put chairs at a grave, and it was profound. It was beautiful, but the contrast.
Oh yeah.
And the experience I had laying my father to rest and watching them lay this other gentleman to rest with the flags and the driving, everything. I mean, it was astounding. It was so beautiful, so life-changing. And if you haven't experienced it, you need to experience this. Reach out to Post 58. We're probably pivot just a little bit and let you know how you can get involved. We want to welcome you in. And actually, the art fair is coming up, so it might be a fantastic opportunity to come check out Post 58. Will you tell us what happens at the art fair?
The art fair in Fountain Hills happens November 8th, 9th, and 10th. The auxiliary actually serves and sells food all 3 days. This is one of the biggest events that we have. We have numerous volunteers. We're always looking for volunteers. Whether you have a food handler's card or not, there's always some work that needs to be done. We notoriously receive applications from people that have come to the post, witnessed the art fair, and want to join. They realize that they do have that connection with a blood relative or a spouse that they can actually get involved. We do the same thing with the St. Patrick's Day. We serve food. We sell the food. Most of it's made ourselves. And again, it's the camaraderie that we have within all the families. Really what makes it work.
Absolutely.
If it weren't for that, I'm not sure what it would look like today, but I'm so pleased to be a part of such a welcoming, loving family that cares about each other.
About each other, about our community.
Yes.
It's,
and our veterans.
It's micro and
Yes.
macro. And I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add to that.
the only thing I would add in closing, is just that I think I may have said it before, that I am so fortunate to have such great families. It makes my job not a lot easier, but a little bit easier.
Give us a little more
Little bit
credit than
easier.
that.
No, the longer I stay in this position, the more I find people stepping up to help. Commander, what do you need me to do? What do you need me to do?
Exactly.
And I turn around and I ask for a volunteer, and boom, they're there. And it wasn't like that 7 years ago when I started. And that's why I want to thank the families for doing everything they do.
And that is a huge testament to that community. I know personally when Colin left us, it was really hard to step into that bar because he used to be right at the entrance, big old smile on his face, and he'd say, Kashi, you know. And what kept me coming back, what keeps me coming back is every person in that place.
You know, we love you and we love Colin. So we're all a family, no matter what. We
Some of the
may
women
not,
love
yes.
Colin a little too much.
Yes,
and now
we did.
I've got nothing to get jealous over. It is he was some eye candy behind the bar, that's for
Yes,
sure.
he was.
He was on
Yes,
Magic
he
Mike.
was.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
If you do not have a community that resembles anything like what we've just shared with you, we want to invite you to come into the Post. Come up to the art fair, come up for St. Patty's Day, see the fountain turn green, whatever you want to do. But if you're a Fountain Hills resident and you haven't been in, we just come on in, play bingo,
Come to
win
line
some money.
dancing. Come to bingo.
Enjoy the fish fry, line dance, whatever it is. Give us a
Come
shot.
and see what we're about.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Love to have you.
And we've got veterans we want to serve. So the more hands that we have to do so, the better. The more dollars, the more hearts, the more prayers, the more of an impact we can have. So we would love to have you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I agree. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
both
you.
for
Thank
coming.
you, Kasha. Doing this.
My pleasure.
Kinda
It's an
special.
honor. Always.
Kind of special.